We have three providers who want to tell the governor how the funds that you announced 2 weeks ago when the vice president was here, how that's going to really make a difference for their programs. And so the first provider I want to introduce is Manisha Gibson from the Maritime Odyssey Preschool in Norwalk. Manisha, are you able to join us?
Good morning. Good morning. Governor Lamont, it is an absolute privilege to be able to be here with you this morning. First and foremost, to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for creating a heightened sense of purpose for this field of early care and education. For far too long, we have felt as if we were not heard. We have felt like we have not been understood. And I think your recent historic investments in the field have sent a loud message that you and your administration, along with Commissioner Beth Bai, who's done an amazing job, support the work that we do. As you may recall, Governor, you visited the Maritime Odyssey Preschool in Norwalk, Connecticut, and you met with many of our community members who really value and understand that there are many ways and options to support young children, whether that be in-home or in a center base. And our particular center has a unique model where we offer not only through our Family Executive Center prenatal care and support with a doula, a social worker, counseling, but we have a career and workforce program that creates a pathway for our parents to enter the field of early care and education. And I have to tell you, this $50 million 2-year investment will open the doors for so many parents to take advantage of improving their outcomes for their families and themselves. I don't believe that this money is historic primarily because of the amount. I believe it is historic, Governor, because you have began to deal with something that we need to focus on, which is addressing the systems that for too long have kept many of our families who have been particularly low income parents of color oppressed. And so this historic event, this money that you are investing is creating a way for our families to no longer have to tolerate low income wages, but have the choice to move up in their lives. After the 2 years of funding, I am convinced that it will show what we already know, what other states already know, that this can't be a one-time thing. We're gonna see qualities of lives improve for our families and for our children. The last thing I'd like to say, Governor, and re-emphasizing how grateful I am for this work that you have done, is that we are not interested in capitalizing off of a moment. We are interested in creating a movement. And this movement requires sacrifice. Sacrifice so that we can say, no matter the cost, right now, here, we are gonna make this a long-time investment, one that just will not serve our state and our communities, but also our entire country. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you are doing. And Commissioner Bai, thank you as well.
Thank you, Manisha. The next provider we have is Gladys Contreras from Shiny Rock Daycare in Stamford. She's a family childcare provider. There you go, Gladys.
Good morning. Good morning, Governor Lamont. Thank you so much for taking your time to listen to the stories of a family daycare, a small business that we are here. I'm from Stamford. I really feel lucky to speak to you. It's an honor. As a family daycare provider, we take our part in helping the community by providing a safe and educational daycare to the children. During the pandemic, we took an additional role to our community to support essential workers as doctors, nurses, that they couldn't find any daycare because the centers were closed. So as a family daycare, we were able to receive these children. But in doing this, we had to increase health and safety measures, put ourselves and our families at risk. Before the pandemic, I had a full classroom and I was able to pay 2 assistants to help me with the children. We were helping each other. When the pandemic hit, my daycare was affected for almost 3 months, and myself and the staff had no form of income coming in. Myself, like many other family daycares providers, we're struggling to pay our essential like rent, mortgage, or utilities. I was thinking on my head, how I was going to take care of my own family. And for the daycares that they were open, you could hear stories like providers getting sick and infecting their own families. When children or staff get sick, it requires closing the programs for 2 weeks. One of my assistants was unable to work for 4 weeks because she was sick, and then her children were sick, her husband was sick, so they couldn't leave the house. So we were helping each other, despite the fact that everyone helps each other out. Not being to work is a big loss of income. It was a nightmare, I think, for everybody. That is when we had to open our doors and take any business we could get by reducing our tuition or accepting children on a part-time, whatever parents needed. They pay me whatever they could afford because I could share the money with my staff also, all while increasing our costs or cleaning supplies to meet the safety standards provided by the state. This is where the money could make a big difference to our families' daycares. The money we would like to receive would help to recover our small business, payroll, cleaning supplies, rent or mortgage, utilities, reorganizing our daycare to stay healthy, assistance low-income families that they were struggling to pay. They were looking for jobs, but care for kids, they were not able to help them. So we needed to help them. We needed to accept these children even without money. So wishing that they pay later when they get a job. So we were helping each other. So we were struggling also with the PPP because, like me, I'm not really an expert in computers. So we needed to hire, someone expert. So we needed to pay money to get money. So while we were accepting also loans, but we needed to pay. So the loans I needed to accept is survive the pandemic and to get back on track. So this is my voice for the small daycares. Thank you for your time and for releasing these funds.
Thank you, Gladys. So as you can see, this is the grant stabilization grants that you announced are going to have a big impact in helping to save the family childcare businesses. Our last provider is Cathy Vanek from Honey Bear Daycare, Honey Bear Childcare in Stratford, who's got a few people with her. Go ahead, Cathy.
Yes. Hi, Meryl. Hi, Governor. Thank you. Hi, Commissioner Bai. Good morning. Thank you so much for giving me the time. Governor, I am we are. Honey Bear is a child care center in Stratford. We've been here since 1986, and we have been a school readiness program since the program started in 1997. I love to advocate. It gives me great joy to assist. We always say we do great big things at Little Old Honey Bear. We're licensed for 52 children, but we're doing it for Connecticut's children. And I know that Manisha and Gladys have already said some things that I'm going to be repeating, and I apologize for that. But I do want to thank you and Commissioner Bai's commitment of the $210 million that you announced when the Vice President was here. Again, for many programs, this is going to be a lifesaver, but we still have programs on the verge of closing. Connecticut is a very diverse population of child care providers. And, the pandemic has accelerated and shown the crises that we face. And one of them, a big one, is the fact that families, our revenue is mostly from family fees. So, what's the difference in that, right? So we have a cost of college, in-state college tuition costs less than a year of school, and you can't apply for FAFSA. So a typical family pays weekly, and they can't afford our revenue increases that we need to properly pay our experienced and our degreed teachers. And what we've done is we've made a very unattractive career. We've asked our OEC has been amazing, getting our teachers free college. So it's great. Go, go, rah, rah. Everybody get their degree. Here we go. And now, great, you got it. Congratulations. That's it. Where's my increase? How much is my increase? So we're losing our staff to elementary schools. We're losing our staff to programs that can afford to pay higher rates. So, and this is also contributed to a current staffing crisis. So I'm just going to kind of give you my example. Honey Bear had shut down for 4 months during COVID. When we reopened in July, we had to reopen at reduced hours because some of our staff had to be home with their children, distance learning. Some could only work part-time because of their children's schedules. And so we really want to get back to opening to our regular full-time hours. We are open 8 hours versus being open 10.5 hours. So we want to get back to that. So for the past 2 months, I've been searching for new candidates to hire. I've only had about 10 apply, and I can't afford to pay them what they're asking for. And so this is a big dilemma, right? Where do we go from here? You know, the funding is great. It solves our current crisis, but really what our childcare industry needs is stabilization. And I totally, wholeheartedly believe that if we do not give our staff what they need, that's going to make everything else crumble, right? Because if our staff are not there, then we as programs, we cannot give quality care. And so that's what we need. And I would love a chance to be able to be a part of trying to help figure out a better financial system for the way childcare centers in Connecticut are paid. And I thank you for your time, and I thank you for your support. Thank you.
So, Governor, the funds that you committed with the $210 million are going to help save a lot of programs. And that's going to be really important as we try and rebuild the economy. For parents going to work, having reliable childcare is every bit as important as the road or bridge that they travel on to get to work. This current recession has sometimes been called the she-cession because so many women have left the workforce to care for kids. We need to, really look at how do we solve this problem so that we can get everybody back to work and we can get the economy really rolling here. We see this, we feel really fortunate about your leadership. Your administration has really been one of the national leaders on this. And we think that this is a real opportunity for you to lead and solve this problem to make Connecticut a place where young people want to come because the childcare system really supports them. And so I'm going to stop talking and let you talk. This is really, we are really happy to have you here. Thank you.
Hey, well, thanks, Merrill. And yeah, I see all these little faces on the screen here. Next time we're doing this together in person. First of all, you had me at hello. I didn't need much reminding how important it is what each and every one of you do. And I'm here on the warm-up band for Beth Bai because she's our amazing commissioner, and nobody is more of a champion for each and every one of you who are a champion for our kids than Beth Bai. Vice President Harris, she came to Connecticut because she thought we were doing a reasonably good job when it came to kids, and more importantly, she wanted to put a spotlight on how vital the work that you do is. Right during the peak of the pandemic, about a year ago, we were desperate. We were desperate to keep our hospitals open. Our hospitals couldn't stay open unless nurses and docs could get to the hospital. The nurses and docs couldn't get to the hospital because the schools were closed. And if there was no place for their kids to have safe, quality childcare, we were going to shut down. That's what we mean by essential. And, Beth and I and the team, we raised a lot of money. We put money, we got daycare up and operating, tried to keep it going, never closed it down in the state of Connecticut, and got special sites located next to each and every one of our hospitals. And now we got to build off of that. And that's what we're doing with some of these resources. As Beth can tell you, this is going to be, in my mind and heart, the greatest expansion in childcare, in the history of our state, and I think the history of our country, and a real recommitment to what it means. And Beth is expanding childcare. It starts with prenatal, making sure that those moms to be and those kids to be have the very best, care leading up, and then at birth, and then infant care, and then early child care, and expansion of that. And that includes not only making it more accessible to each and every one of those, parents, single parents, in terms of affordability, widening that lens there, and also rewarding the folks in our certified centers who are doing the extra work and making sure we appreciate, the extraordinary things you're doing. And, Meryl said, this is also part of bigger what Connecticut's all about. I mean, if you want to compete in this day and age, we're going to be the most family-friendly state in the country. And I want those parents to know that you come to Connecticut, we love your kids almost as much as you do. We want to do everything we can to take care of them and make sure that you have the opportunity to, work or get on with your life as well in as way as best we can. I mean, we're one of the first states to do a very expansive paid family and medical leave. I think that sends a signal to people. This is what we're doing, for you, and how important it is that your family comes first. There was a lot of push and shove about who gets vaccinated, when they get vaccinated. I'll just say two things on that. One, Beth made sure that each and every one of you and our child care providers were right there along with all the educators, front of the line, make sure that you could get vaccinated, make sure that you could be safe, your families could be safe, and your daycare could stay open. And I hope you've all gotten vaccinated, by the way. It's really important. Our seniors have gotten vaccinated in a dramatic way. I mean, well over 85%. It's extraordinary. If you remember just 6 months ago, there's a lot of hesitancy. I'm not sure. And we're getting people with Pfizer, Moderna vaccine. Really, it's 100% safe. J&J, we got a bit of a curveball there, but that's a 1 in a million. So I think you should know that this is the right thing to do, the safe thing to do. And I just want to get back to our kids. There's a guy named Miguel Cardona who Joe Biden just stole away from Connecticut. He was our Commissioner of Education. He's now Secretary of Education. And he always loves to say, I can tell a lot about a community. I can tell a lot about a state. I can tell a lot about a country. How often do they ask, how are the kids doing? How are the kids doing? And I want to say thanks to you and thanks to hopefully the support we're able to provide, our kids are doing well and they're going to do better. And they're going to get the best start we can give them at the starting line of life. And we can't do it without each and every one of you. And that's why I wanted to be here today, front and center. Thanks.
Thank you, Governor. Commissioner Bai, did you have anything you wanted to add in here?
Sure, Governor, thank you so much for being here, and thanks everyone for organizing. Governor, this group has been meeting twice a week throughout the pandemic, helping us communicate with providers across the state, and I'm just so grateful for your leadership, Middlesex, CAUSE, Early Childhood Alliance, and SEIU. But Governor, Gladys and Cathy and Manisha really summed it up for you, how they're appreciative of support and they still have big challenges. And your charge to me from the beginning of the pandemic and even from the beginning of your administration is that as a state, we can't move forward without childcare infrastructure. And the pandemic really leaned in on that, made us all lean in on it. I'll never forget that call, like day 4. When you said, we've got to keep the hospitals open. How can we do this? And you helped connect us with philanthropy to support programs at the hospital with some of your colleagues. I also think, Governor, your message about early investments and smart investments, you're a business person. And as we've been coming to you with ideas about, hey, how do we fix this in the long run? You've really been buying that idea that if we can make the investments early, we save later. And this group has been saying that to me as a legislator and others for decades. And I think finally they're feeling heard and that we have paid leave. We're talking about how can we make home visiting reach more families and other conversations. And then how does that connect with childcare? How do we give families the best start and make Connecticut the most family-friendly state? I'm coming to you, Governor, today from Bristol Preschool. I'm in Megan's office. I'm here with the Lieutenant Governor, touring and hearing about what they're doing here. And when you go out to the programs, it's just remarkable the steps they're taking to keep children and staff healthy. And we've been doing our best with the grant programs, Governor, that you've approved to provide funding. And April 26th, the $120 million fund of grants will start to roll out. And you could hear from Gladys and Manisha and Cathy how critical that's going to be for them to stay open for the short term. And then we have some long-term investments for the workforce. And the piece that wasn't discussed today, Governor, that you really have supported is this idea that we need to pay more for high quality. Right now, there's a slight bump up if you provide accredited care. The governor's invested $26 million over the next 2 years on rates so that those programs that are meeting the highest standards will be paid higher rates. And then he committed $6 to $7 million to help programs that aren't yet accredited with support, to pay their fees, to help you all with background checks. We know it's those little things that add up, and removing barriers like you're doing for working parents. We need to remove barriers that are in the way of programs getting accredited. So I think you're right, Governor. We're going to build the best. We'll have the highest quality early childhood system in the country. What we're even looking at is what are they doing in other countries to improve their system. So I'll stop there, Governor. We're just really grateful for your time and super grateful to the Alliance. Oh, and one other thing on the vaccine front, Governor, I want to personally thank SEIU, who worked with Partners in Health, some of the work that you set up to do vaccine hesitancy training for childcare providers, and they've helped outreach to family childcare providers with that work. We had critical partnership on the vaccines and some of the vaccine hesitancy there. So just want to make sure I thanked Ava for that help, because as you said, we need everybody vaccinated. And there's some situations where people can't get vaccinated, but everyone who can really should. So thanks, Governor, and thanks, Meryl.
Thank you. Governor, we know you've got a busy schedule, so we just wanted to have this opportunity to thank you. If you've got any final thoughts before we close, give you that opportunity. You're muted right now. There we go.
I think we're back. Let me just follow up on something Gladys said. I mean, this is short-term money, but let's make it transformative. Let's show the rest of the country how invaluable this investment has been and what it means for these kids and what it means for your child care. I want to make sure that this short-term money is a permanent structural change that is we can show it works in Connecticut and they take it across the country. I think we got the federal foot on the accelerator to make this happen. I've said this about all our the money we're getting from the feds is this is not short-term money. If we show it's transformative, we're going to be able to make the structural changes we need to take care of our kids forever. Thanks, everybody. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks,
Thank
Governor.
you so
And
much.
if before you sign off, I would just encourage you to look at the chat. There's many greetings and thank yous and words of support there for you, Governor, for you, Commissioner, for all of the speakers here. And I would say maybe most importantly, the words of gratitude should be for everyone here. That we had somewhere between 350 and 400 people here today over the course of the morning. And the fact that, you know, I know, Governor, you said that we should do this in person, but honestly, we were able to get people here who never would have been able to leave their centers, their families, their children, people working in their homes, and they're able to be here with us and with you today because of this technology. So, so also, you know, this is pretty fantastic that we could be together in this way. So thank you again, Governor. We're so appreciative of your time.
Take care, everybody.